Conclusion inevitable.
It was a jump to conclusions, Matt.
My conclusion was that this idea was not a practical deterrent.
My only conclusion can be that it was a Sith Lord.
In conclusion.
Hello there, folks! Welcome back to In Conclusion, the only movie podcast where the pie, it's so good. I'm Dan O'Keefe, and joining me as always, refusing to make eye contact with me, is Anna Otto. How are you, Anna?
Dan, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't even know what to say. I'm good, Dan. How are you?
I'm good.
You know what? No, wait. Do I have any good quotes? No, I'm just thinking about the fact that Eric Foreman is in this movie. Okay, continue on.
Also joining us today for the third, and hopefully not final, but final for a little bit of time, is David Rodriguez. How are you, David?
I'm great after you just said that comment, because would love to be back on the show, you know. Do a little hiatus, and then come back.
Just before we started recording, we were talking about a wide range of things, but we ended talking about the Cider House Rules. So whenever we do our Tobey Maguire and Michael Caine trilogy of the Cider House Rules 3 times, we'll have David back.
3 times? Oh, God.
Fantastic.
Tobey Maguire.
Or the Cider House Rules and 2 Pure Michigan ads.
We can do that. I'd be down.
We could also watch Great Gatsby. That has Tobey Maguire in it, and he is the weakest link in that film.
I thought he held his own.
Oh, neither one of you agrees with me? I guess we'll have
I
to have
don't think
another
he's
episode.
the weakest link. I think that Baz Luhrmann is the weakest link in The Great Gatsby, because I don't like Baz Luhrmann.
Whoa, that's controversial.
Who was that?
The director.
Okay. And he played guy number 3?
Correct. He was the car that...
Kills.
He was the great of The Great Gatsby?
Of course,
Yes.
How
He
could
was
I
all
forget?
of their straw hats.
Actually, no, he was just the eyes.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
So, the movie that we're talking about today is the third and, I can't say the final Spider-Man 3, because it's the first of 2 Spider-Man 3s. The next one hasn't come out yet, but it's Spider-Man 3.
We're waiting with... Okay.
We're
Sorry.
waiting with bated breath.
Yes, but
is our breath bated?
I started saying that, and then I immediately had a second thought. That's why I sounded like that. Why didn't these have more clever titles?
They didn't need to, right?
Yeah.
Like,
They could have, though.
I mean, look at Iron Man. Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. Like, I feel like that wasn't a thing yet to, like, give it a little subtitle.
I guess. And I guess they didn't anticipate there being at least 6 more Spider-Man films with
That
different
too.
actors. Anyway.
So, Spider-Man 3 released on May 4th, 2007, directed by Sam Raimi, written by Sam Raimi, his brother Ivan, and Alvin Sargent, starring Tobey Maguire, Kirsten Dunst, James Franco, Thomas Hayden Church, Eric Foreman, Dallas Howard, James Cromwell, Rosemary Harris, and J.K. Simmons. It had a budget of anywhere from $258 to $350 million.
Why do
and
you
it made
not know the specific number, Dan?
That's what it says. There are different numbers quoted.
Okay. Just curious.
I'm not an accountant.
Just curious. Continue on.
It made a cool $895 million at the box office.
My God.
And review-wise, on Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 63% approval rating with an average rating of 6.24 out of 10, with the critics' consensus reading, though there are more characters and plot lines, the action sequences still dazzle. Spider-Man 3, nonetheless, isn't quite refined as the first 2.
No.
And that is putting it kindly.
Yes.
Oh, I'm about to rip this
Who paid
movie.
them
I'm
to
about to-
write those reviews?
Sam Raimi, probably. I'm about to rip this movie new butt. Get ready.
It's not hard to either. Like, again, I'm a huge fan of Spider-Man, but watching this again was just a treat and also just poison to my body.
Well, I mean, we talked about right off the bat Like, there's just too... I mean, you already said there's just too many plot lines. There's,
Oh, yeah.
What did we say? There was 3 villains?
There's 3 villains in this.
And they really don't... Like, I have seen the movie Venom. You know, I'm familiar with Venom and his works. But I still, in this specific movie, was confused about how they thought Venom was supposed to work. Like, it just is not clear to me.
I
A
think,
lot of things are not clear.
Correct.
Yeah.
Also, why does Sandman look like Steve from Blue's Clues? Let's talk about that.
yeah, that costume design choice.
They
What was
really
that
said-
all about?
Yeah, they really said green shirt, khaki pants, make him look exactly like the comic, but also like a children's television show host.
You know, they're trying to get the Nick Kids' Choice Award crowd to watch.
They-
If they aren't watching already.
Yeah.
So this movie came out in 2007. I think, the peak audience for this. I was 10 years old.
Oh God.
A suburban white boy, so all I wanted to do was watch superhero movies. I was huge into, like, X-Men and Fantastic Four and stuff like that. I think I saw this in theaters, but that's not important. What is important is at a White Elephant that Christmas, I not only submitted Spider-Man 3 into the White Elephant, but also got it out of the White Elephant.
Wait.
Because I was 10 years old, and I went to Target with my mom, and I was like, we should get this for the White Elephant. She was like, fine, I guess. When really I was saying, we should get this for me. So I've seen this movie like 30 times.
You didn't tell me that you picked your own present at the White Elephant. You just said you got it from a White Elephant.
I like to keep my secrets.
Wow, that was quite the M. Night Shyamalan twist, Dan. Wow.
Isn't it like illegal in White Elephant to pick your own gifts?
Probably, but not for 10-year-olds.
Not for 10-year-olds.
It's allowed if you're 10.
As long as you're before a teenager, I think it's fine. You're pushing it. But once you hit 13, you get smacked if you try to do that.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I'm trying to
Unless
think.
you're the person in the White Elephant who's like, I gave socks.
Oh, my mom has gone. I remember one year at Christmas we were doing a White Elephant, and my mom, without thinking, gave away something that I actually liked. Like, she went in her closet and found something and took it, and my uncle opened the present, and I went, that's mine! And my mom was like, And my uncle was like, you can have it back if you want. It was like body lotion that I had been using, because I kind of hoard body lotion. Fun fact, I always have like 6 tubes of it on me at one time.
Wait. When you say you have 6 tubes of it on you, do you mean you are in possession of 6 tubes?
Yes.
Or you're constantly slipping everywhere?
I
Because you're
wish.
covered in 6 layers of full body lotion.
No, like I have a lot of lotion in the closet at my apartment.
Okay.
Yeah. Full bottles.
Less exciting, but still.
Sorry, I'm not slippery. I don't know.
Ew.
I don't know.
Ew.
Ew.
So, did either of you, do you remember the first time you saw this? I assume it was not tonight.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw this in theaters because I remember seeing the trailer more than I remember seeing the movie. Because I was like, whoa, a black suit, like hardcore, you know? Because I'm 12 at this point. I showed Anna some like classic David
They
from
were
middle
iconic.
school / high school. And I had like emo bang, you know, like I was like listening to metal, you know, all that fun stuff.
Iconic.
So when I saw, you know, this dark suit Spider-Man, I was like, hell yeah. But I would say, I think watching it, I was like, like, I think I started to finally question, like, my entertainment that I was, like, receiving as in my childhood. I'm like, is this actually good, or am I just, like, liking it because it's Spider-Man? And, yeah.
That's so sad.
I think I liked it overall, but, like, I think the one point where I'm like, that's even too much for me was when he starts, like, putting his hair down. I was like, all right, like, I do that, but, like, even as a 12-year-old, I'm like, this is too much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't know when I can't remember the first time I saw it. I know, like, my cousin, who's, I think he's a year younger than you are, Dan, so he's, like, 4 years younger than me. He was so psyched when these movies came out. So we'd watch them when we were at his house and stuff when I was little. So I'm almost 100% sure I watched it with my cousin when I was little. And then, because he was like in 4th grade, he was in 3rd grade, I would have been in 7th grade. Yeah. Something like that. I'm sure we watched them at his house. And then I hadn't seen it for years, because, and then recently, and by recently I mean within the last few months, I went to Target, and for some unknown reason, this is the film that they chose to play to demonstrate how well their TVs worked. Usually it's like a new movie and it's like something hip. No.
Or like Planet Earth.
Yeah. Because of the beautiful cinematography. No, they chose Spider-Man 3. And I remember it because I went, that is Topher Grace. And he's not in that 70s show. It must be Spider-Man 3, because Black Klansman hadn't come out yet, so that was the only other option.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Well, there's also Win a Date with Tad Hamilton. But I guess no one cares about that.
No.
And Predator. He was
yeah.
in the, I don't remember
Well,
when that came out, like 2010 Predator.
Well, in my immediate knowledge, it was either that 70s show or Spider-Man 3. So...
But speaking of Target, another thing that I remember vividly about this movie is how at Target they used to have in the TV section, like, why you should switch from DVD to Blu-ray. And they would show the thing where it would, like, wipe over from a really, like, grayscale and, like, fake bad-looking DVD to like a full quality HD Blu-ray.
Yeah.
They always use Spider-Man 3 for those ads.
Because don't they
It
use
was
him
that
like
and Pirates
swimming?
of the Caribbean.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yes,
I do
you're
remember
right.
this. Yeah, don't they usually do it when it's like him at like on top of the church or like him looking at himself
Yeah.
in like the skyscraper? Yeah.
Something dramatic,
Well, speaking of dramatic, I don't think we can waste any more time.
No,
I
we
think it's
cannot.
time to start.
This movie opens with a
Unfortunately-
bang, so...
Yeah, so unfortunately, Spider-Man 3 opens up with, well, after about 45 minutes of opening titles.
Yeah, and
Draining.
again, like they thought, we enjoyed the recap of the first movie with the second movie. Why don't we do both the movies now? Force, the third one.
It was draining. It
I
was
was like-
emotionally draining.
Yeah, definitely.
The movie does start off with a bang. Another narration montage by Peter Parker, now a 32-year-old college student.
Yeah, for real.
Who's getting spitballed at? Like, really?
That's not what happens in college, my dudes.
Hey, I realized reading up on this, Sam Raimi never went to college, so this could all be fantasy for him.
Oh,
He
God.
just went straight into
sure.
directing.
So he thinks that there's still bullies in college, when in reality it's just people who are just trying to make it, you
Yeah.
know?
Just like
trying to
Everybody's
survive.
everyone's too depressed in college to bully.
Yeah.
They're
It's-
bullying themselves constantly.
I don't think anybody had the physical energy to even make one rude comment about outfits because, you're either wearing sweatpants or pajama pants. There's no in between.
Yeah.
It's like if you asked a middle schooler, what do you think college would be like? And that's what they filmed.
Not only does Peter go to class, he's also still dating Mary Jane Watson, who is currently starring third billing, opening number singer on a Broadway musical.
Okay.
That's a role that they can't recast after 5 showings, after previews.
Let's just take 1 second to talk about. So the show is called Manhattan Memories. Do you know what song that show is, or what show that song is from?
I'm gonna guess no, I'm thinking of Manhattan, but that's a Woody Allen movie. I don't. Is it Chicago?
It's
No, that
Annie,
wouldn't
Get
make
Your
sense.
Gun, Dan.
Really?
Really? Would you have
Well,
guessed
that casts a different light.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you because it is not. There are no rootin' tootin' cowboys in that opening number.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So After a wonderful night at the show,
And our
where
first
Peter
name?
Parker is basically drooling on stage, he sees Harry leaving, who saw it with him.
While
Harry
wearing
does
opera
not-
glasses.
Yeah. Harry does not give him the time of day. Instead, Harry goes back to his lair, gets all steroided up, and basically becomes the Hobgoblin. The new
Love it.
Goblin, whatever we want to call him.
I like Hobgoblin.
I think technically it's Hobgoblin, but I mean, it's just Harry.
Yeah.
I
It's
call him
just
the
Harry.
Hobby Gobby, but okay.
Ew.
Yeah.
Did you say ew?
Yes, I said ill.
And not only does he become the Hobgoblin, but Peter and Mary Jane go to Mac in a public park on webs.
I actually
Where
enjoyed that.
meteorite lands near them.
I could never date Spider-Man for many reasons, but one of them being I'm too scared of heights. So if he'd be like, hey baby, let's go make out in my web, I'd be like, can it be, on the ground?
I think it'd be cool to be on a web and just like looking at the stars, even though you not see that many stars in New York City. But it is what it is.
no.
How do you know it wouldn't just magically... I would be so scared. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't trust anyone enough. I've been hurt too many times
Yikes.
by lemon cake that looked vanilla. I'm scared, okay?
So the meteorite crash lands near them, and this black goop seeps out and starts crawling away.
Okay, that was
Very
cool
cute.
looking. I'll say that.
It was...
That's cool looking.
The effects in this movie have held up, I'd say, spectacularly, considering it's 13 years old.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Some of
Most
the
of the time.
Sandman stuff, I'm like, okay, that seems a little...
Oh yeah, when
Yeah.
he first becomes Sandman,
Yeah.
that's a little cringy
But-
to look at, but like all the fight scenes, and
Yeah.
they look good.
Anyway, speaking of Sandman, we see Steve from Blue's Clues
Yes!
breaking into his ex-wife, I think.
I guess.
I don't know if they're exes. They could still be married.
Yeah.
Let's
And his
say they're
daughter's
separated.
apartment.
They're just separated.
Sure.
They're going through it.
Anyway, he's a criminal, but he's not a bad guy. It was just a mistake. But the wife doesn't understand. So anyway, he's going to go commit more crimes to prove that he's not a criminal. But honestly, is that an indictment upon recidivism and our prison industrial complex? Or am I reading too much into this movie that Sam Raimi himself says is bad?
I think you're... That's giving me big Arnold Schwarzenegger threatening to show Jingle All the Way vibes. May I
Yikes.
just say?
It is, yeah.
And I'd like to point out, and within the first 3 main scenes, there are a shit ton of medication, like in
Yes.
each shot. And I think Big Pharma, like, just sponsored the first half of this movie because there are 2 more times we get it with the daughter's bedroom,
Aunt
and
May.
then Aunt May, and then J. Jonah Jameson has like his whole scene. So I don't know what that's all about. Like, is that supposed to be funny that people are on a lot of medication?
I'm
I don't know.
concerned for their livers and stomachs and kidneys. That's hard on you.
Oh yeah.
Hard on your body, friends.
Yeah.
And when she came out without her oxygen tank, I'm like, she's off oxygen. Someone put that back on.
If you or a loved one have been affected by a symbiote that's changing your personality, AstraZeneca may be able
Oh
to
my
help.
god.
I wish I could talk as fast as they do on the commercial for all the side effects.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
My dad always mutes those because he's like, nobody needs to hear all of that. Makes me
Yeah.
laugh.
Speaking of things nobody needs to hear, Peter confesses his love for MJ to Aunt May, who then says, "You know, the first when your uncle proposed to me, we swam the English Channel, and he kept the ring held tight within him. He had to poop it out for it to get to my finger. I actually had
God.
to stick my finger up there, and it came right out. Anyways, you can have it." And then that's the end of the scene.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yup. That's it, Dan. That's
Perfect.
exactly
That's
it.
perfect.
Good job, Dan.
No comment.
Yeah. Of course, because no good deed goes unpunished, as Peter is mopeding his way back to his apartment, he gets bum rushed by the Hobgoblin.
The best way to put it.
Oh god. But
They
okay,
have a fight through the sky.
Let's just say I do like this upgrade to snowboard Hobgoblin. It is pretty cool.
Yes.
We also discussed how he looks like a mix between the Vulture and the Green Goblin had a child for his costume. I'm for it, I think.
There were, in fact, no cheeks in this movie, though.
No cheeks, though, yeah.
No cheeks to be reported.
Incredibly disappointing.
Truly. I will say...
Considering that Venom is 90% cheek in the comics.
I
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. I really...
Sorry, David, what were you saying?
It's fine. I was just going to say, I really enjoyed watching Peter, like, in just street clothes using his powers. I don't know. It was just, like, cool. It's like, oh, wow, this is different, you know? We haven't seen this yet, so I enjoyed that.
But, like, let's also talk about how in this fight scene, every hit that Peter takes should have killed him or at least broken something very seriously.
Oh, yeah. He gets annihilated in this scene. Like, just...
And he's just, like,
completely
brushing it
destroyed.
off, like, oh, was that a light breeze? Like, he doesn't
Harry,
even
we
feel
can
it.
talk!
Yeah.
As he's, like, getting his face smashed
Like,
into a building.
Yeah.
Not only should Peter have died, but based on the way the fight ends, where Harry falls for a Three Stooges level trap of getting tripped up by a tripwire, and then in a Three Stooges level pratfall, slams his head into an iron pipe, falls 5 stories down into an alley, and kind of just has a head injury. He should be very dead.
Yeah.
Oh,
At the
yeah.
very least, he should be dead.
Like, I mean, Peter starts doing CPR on him, so, like, he stopped breathing. Like,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
was Peter doing it to the tune of Staying Alive?
I think he did a little bit better than the assistant in the first movie.
True.
So, I'll give him that much.
Or to the beat, not the tune.
So-
I don't know how you would save somebody to the tune of Staying Alive.
Yeah, don't
Your
recommend
chest
it.
cavity. Your chest cavity, you're like a half step low.
Gets out my tuning forks. Boom! Like,
So, Harry loses his memory, and then he'll be fine, but he has no memory, so he's acting like a drugged up 8-year-old.
yeah, it's kind of
Honestly.
cute, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah,
he's
we-
kind of adorable.
We
Yeah.
like drugged up Harry. He's a good guy.
He's drugged up. Harry is my favorite character in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
Guys, I'm
then
trying.
Flint. I'm sorry. What?
It's okay. I'm just saying. I'm looking through my notes, and one of them doesn't. Pepto. It says, "Did Pepito sponsor this movie?" And I was like, "What does that mean?" Pepto. Okay, sorry. Go back to what we were talking about.
Did my man Pepito sponsor this?
I was so confused. I was like, "Who's Pepito? What is this going on?" Pepto Bismol.
So Flint Marko, who we have seen previously, lives in New York City, somehow ends up at a rural sand nuclear blast testing site.
The
on the run from
marshes
the
of
cops.
New York City.
Where? Please.
Yeah,
Like,
that's what they say, all right?
he looks like he's in Louisiana. Like, I don't think so.
Yeah. Wherever the mob dumps the bodies, that one marsh that they decided to put a nuclear testing site at.
To cover up all the bodies.
Yeah. So he gets sandblasted,
With moon sand.
becoming sand.
It looks as though he looks the way it feels to have sand in every orifice of your body after
Ugh.
going to the beach.
Yeah, honestly.
I wonder if his throat is dry.
Probably my nostrils
Easily.
were burning watching this scene.
Do you say your nostrils?
Nostrils. You know,
I
your
heard
nose
nostrils.
holes, Dan.
Thank you. Please use their scientific name.
You're welcome. Nose holes.
Nose holes.
1, 2.
So, MJ, guess what? She sees the review for her play, bad review. The audience didn't clap loud enough for her.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely spanked her in that review.
They really did.
She really... MJ, you mean booty trash?
And Peter tries to comfort her by saying, I'm Spider-Man, and sometimes things go bad for Spider-Man, but then you just gotta be Spider-Man, and Spider-Man your way back to Spider-Man.
God, I
Which
would have
MJ
dumped him right there.
takes as well as you should.
Yeah.
Can I just say, for a moment, I'm realizing as we talk about this movie has so many plot points going on that as we talk about it, it sounds like we're just jumping from topic to topic, but that's literally just how the movie is.
This is so scene true. By scene that I'm going.
Yeah, like
I have not moved anything around.
Nothing's been skipped. It's just that confusing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to wrap up a plot point right now. Mary Jane. Bad reviews caused her to get recast despite being third billed on the marquee in a Broadway musical. She gets recast, but then has to lie to Peter because Peter won't listen because he's a big old dick about everything. Mm-hmm. And then that causes her
drama
to break up and shit. Whatever. That plot point's done. It's boring. Everybody sucks in this movie.
They're the most toxic Peter and MJ I've ever seen. I said it once. I said it in the second movie. And I'll say it a third time just now.
It's true. It is true. Mm-hmm. It's really opened my eyes watching these again. Yep. And I'm like, oh man, this is not the kind of relationship you ever want.
Also, shout out to our friend BD who texted me saying that he agreed with me wholeheartedly on the poor acting choices of one Miss Kirsten Dunst. You my man, BD. Okay.
Yes.
I loved you in all the episodes.
I will have another shout out to BD later when I get to trivia because he texted me a wonderful piece of trivia.
Oh,
very
fantastic. I cannot wait.
That's my man right there. I love him.
So, back to the Spider-Man. Ugh.
Spider-Man.
Pictures of
Spider-Man.
Peter is listening to his police scanner radio, which is probably something that I would do if I had one.
I was just about to say.
I'm also a psychopath.
I was just about to say, how old is Peter? 90? And then you said that, and it was all clear.
So he hears that there is a crane accident going on downtown, and there's a crane basically spinning out of control directly above Bryce Dallas Howard, modeling above a copier.
She looks
beautiful. As we all remember those wonderful copier ads in our copies of Entertainment Weekly.
Let's also just remind everybody that he knows this Gwen Stacy, Bryce Dallas Howard, because she's in his science class. That happens for like 2 seconds in a previous scene, but it wasn't really important enough to consider a major point. It's just how she's introduced to set this scene up. But anyway.
Also in this scene, we are introduced to Captain Gwen Stacy.
Yep.
That's how I'm going to refer to him.
Captain Gwen Stacy.
Like, you know how people in the past and sometimes in the present would refer to husband and wife couples as like Mr. and Mrs.
Yeah, my mom still does that when she writes letters and not letters, Christmas cards.
Well, I'm going daughter and father. That's how it should be referred to. So it's Gwen and Captain. Or Captain Gwen. I don't know what I was trying to say.
Gwen. The Captain and the Captain and Tennille.
Oh, my dad would be so happy if he listened to this podcast to hear that reference.
That was an old person joke. I'm sorry, everyone.
Yeah. So we also meet maybe the most important character in this movie, Eric Foreman.
How dare you, first of all? Okay, continue.
He's Eddie Brock. Of course it's Topher Grace. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying this, I don't know how to put this, because I love Topher Grace.
Oh, I love him in that 70s show.
I do too, yeah.
I love him in everything. Win a Date with Tad Hamilton is the only other thing I've seen him in.
Then how can you form this opinion?
Klansman.
I've never seen Black Klansman, but I want to. I'm sorry I'm behind the times. A gentleman at Pita Pit invited me to go with him once, and I said no.
I do want to see it as well. I have to add it to the list.
Speaking of Pita Pit, the Pita Pit on Marquette's campus,
it's
now an Auntie Anne's Pretzels.
They waited until after I graduated to do that. Do you know how fat I would be from going there every day? I'd also have no money. I'm Auntie Anne's Pretzels' biggest stan. Thank you. Oh my God, Dan? My heart rate elevated. I'm sweating.
I'm pretty sure my coworker just went there today.
Oh my God.
They're like, they just opened up an Auntie Anne's. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I gotta make an I don't even know how to feel right now. The fact that you just told me that pita place just turned into an Auntie Anne's Pretzels. Dan, I'm going through all the stages of grief. Like, first, I don't even know if it's grief. I'm starstruck. And I'm also sad that I'm not in college right now, so I could go to it. I would catch me walking to class with a pretzel every day.
Every day. Oh my god. Do you know how many pretzel dogs I would have eaten if it was there? I ate pretzel dogs because they had them at one of the dining halls. Do you know how weird that is?
Yikes.
Man, now I just want an Auntie Anne's pretzel. Oh, carry on without me.
What I'm saying is I love Topher Grace. I think he's really good as Eddie Brock, and I think he's really, really bad as Venom.
Yes.
I would agree.
I think he makes Eddie Brock look a lot more slimy than I really like Tom Hardy's portrayal of him.
Cocaine, okay.
But I think they're two very different interpretations of Eddie Brock.
And Venom himself, because
Yeah.
again, well, I say again, but we talked about this
Yeah.
while watching the movie, like how Venom in this movie is not. It's not a sentient being. It just takes over and amplifies strength and like bad attitude. While in the other Venom, which I haven't seen yet, so I'm talking out my ass.
I'm telling you right now, David, it's so good. And if I think you're wrong, I'll tell you.
Yeah, please. I do really want to see it, but from my understanding, that Venom has a personality,
He
and
does.
like it is a sentient
Very
being,
much.
and
It is.
like coerces him essentially, like
It's
to do
like a
these
split
awful things.
personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, Spider-Man, he saves Bryce Dallas Howard, and then he fights the Sandman, and he meets the Sandman, and they fight, as I said. Do you know that he fights the
He
Sandman?
fights the Sandman,
He
and
the
then
Sandman
he meets him.
fight.
Mr. Sandman, let's get into a fight.
You
Thank you.
Man me some sand.
Ew.
So Topher Grace is allegedly Gwen's boyfriend. Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I love how
And then
nonchalant he, like, as he's watching Gwen, like, almost fall to her death, he's just like, oh, by the way, I'm dating your daughter.
Gross. Gross. And that's
Let's
why
take some pictures.
we don't stand for multiple reasons, but
Yeah.
that's specific. Wait, I just keep reading my own notes. I'm going further ahead, and I'm looking at that one joke that I made yesterday that you were like, write that down, write that down. It's when I put Venom suit, more like Chad suit. Thank you for laughing. Anyway.
So not only is Eddie Brock a male chauvinist, I don't know what's the best way to describe him.
He's slimy.
Also a freelance photographer.
That's correct.
Yes, he
He's
is.
slimy and a photographer. It must make it hard
And
to
he's-
hold on to the camera.
Yeah, it just keeps slipping out. But anyway, he sells his pictures over Peter's to the Daily Bugle because J. Jonah Jameson is entranced with him. And then guess what? We have another plot point. Now there's a competition to see who's going to get the staff photographer job.
Yes.
Eddie Brock or Peter Parker. And you know what? I don't care!
Yeah, truly. Truly.
Wow.
It doesn't matter!
A lot of
Truly.
rage. Lot of rage. Which is totally understandable because it's true. No one cares.
Yeah. So this is where MJ goes and she sees that she's fired, so whatever. But it's time for Spider-Man to get the key to New York, where he does what all good people do and recreates his romantic kiss with MJ with that floozy Gwen Stacy.
Okay, but let's just take a moment to talk about how if I was MJ, I too would be peeved.
Oh, yeah. I think any rational and reasonable person would be pissed
Yeah.
that, you know, first off, no one ever saw that kiss. It was just him and MJ, and then he just does it in public with some rando.
Ho.
And I'd like to point out that one kid shakes his head no. He knows what's up.
He knows what's up. He says, don't do
He's
it,
got it.
Spidey.
He says, don't do it. He
Women
does it
are
anyway.
trouble, he says, and Spidey does it anyway.
Listen up, boys. Don't mean to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble.
Wow, that was poetic. I'm trying to be,
Yeah, that
you know,
was-
I
that
feel
was
like I'm
Will Smith.
anti-man a lot. Oh, there it is, my boy. You know, my jam, Nightmare on My Street. That's my favorite Will Smith song.
I like that. The way that he says "A Nightmare on My Street" is different every time in that song, but especially the end, he goes "A nightmare on my pastry!
Oh, god damn, that shot me directly into Halloween. Oh, thank you.
So, of course, MJ tells Harry that she has been kicked off the show. She still doesn't tell Peter. And then...
Also a problem, their communication is poor.
Yeah, and then guess what? Here comes the sand boy again. He flies in, he's a cloud of sand. They fight. That's really it.
Yep.
It's a fight.
This is not the scene where he kills him, right? Or no? That's later on.
No,
That
that's
doesn't happen
later
until
on.
He has the black suit.
It's all
But
blurring
speaking
together.
of which,
It really is.
it's almost time for the black suit at a French restaurant where we see 5 minutes of Tobey Maguire's improv comedy.
What?
Tobey Maguire's improv comedy.
Where?
Of him.
Who?
Him coming up with the ring speech. Oh, how'd that get in there?
Yeah.
Fudge. I forced myself to forget about this because it was so painful.
Also, I love the whistle when the guy, who's that actor? Because he's in all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
I just love he's like, oh, a special occasion. And someone brings him a whistle and then he whistles and then more people come. I loved it.
My personal favorite part of that scene is when the same actor takes the ring from Tobey Maguire and puts on glasses to look at it because the diamond is so small.
Oh, yeah. Straight up insulting.
I was dying. Oh.
But anyway, MJ and Peter have a wonderful dinner where he proposes, they don't run into Gwen Stacy, and everything goes swimmingly.
Yup.
Wait, what's that? That doesn't happen? Oh no. Basically, MJ says, hey, you know what? I don't need help. I just need your support. And then he tells her he doesn't need help. He's Spider-Man. And she leaves without proposal.
Because he doesn't listen to anything.
He literally mansplains to her in this scene.
He does. He truly does.
Yeah. Awful. Just awful.
So that night, as Peter falls asleep, the black symbiote decides, ooh, I'm gonna hug someone. And it hugs Peter.
Why is he sleeping in the spider suit? Let's talk about that. Like,
Well,
does he
he's
wear it
wait-
under all his clothes?
Isn't he waiting to hear from the Sandman? Because now he knows.
Yeah, I think he's just waiting to hear if anything chaotic happens on his little police scanner.
Yeah.
But he had to just throw on the suit before you leave? I don't know.
Yeah. And then we see Black Suit Spider-Man when Peter wakes up, and he is
looking
in the black
badass.
suit hanging outside of a window. It's a really cool shot. It looks really nice.
Yeah.
The Chad suit.
The Chad.
A brief piece of trivia. The original design of the suit was that it's like a black latex suit. Completely black latex. But Sam Raimi, after seeing the original design, said, no, that looks too gimpy. Just make it black and silver like a regular Spider-Man suit.
Oh my goodness.
Probably a great call on his part.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
Nobody wants to see Tobey Maguire in a gimp suit, swinging around, fighting the Sandman and such.
Well, I'm not going to say that I don't want to see Tobey Maguire in a gimp suit.
I'm not on that list of people, Dan. I am not on that list.
I'm going to yada some stuff because I just don't care.
Before you do, I just want to say one of my favorite lines is when Peter is out on the town in the black Spider-Man suit and Eddie Brock comes up to him and asks for a picture and he says no and then jumps into the sewer and goes, see ya, chump.
I was just going to say that. That was
Yes.
awesome. I wrote that down as well.
Yes.
See ya, chump. Yeah, great line.
Okay, carry on.
So after his initial night of being Black Suit Spider-Man, he goes to see Dr. Connors, who's his professor, and he's like, wow, I've never seen anything like this before. Don't let it get near you. Anyway, bye. And then, of course, Peter then goes and hears something about the Sandman. He puts the black suit on and goes to fight him. And as we said, Eddie is there taking pictures. They end up fighting in an alleyway, and Peter kills him, he thinks, by slamming his head into the side of a moving subway train, and then he gets sandblasted away again. Sandblasted.
He does the water thing, and he drips away. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have something here's another thing I don't understand about this iteration of Venom. is he inside of Peter or is he just in the suit? Like, that's not clear to me, and I still am confused. I don't like that I can't tell.
Yeah, we never see it, like, go into him. I mean, we see it go into Eddie Brock, and it looks like it goes, like, inside of him.
In his mouth.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's just confusing to me. It's fine. Nobody needs to explain it if they don't want to. All right, then keep your secrets, you know what I mean? Like, just very confused.
And then, so Peter goes and yells about fixing the damn door to his landlord. Talks to Aunt May, tells him that he killed the Sandman, who I didn't mention, killed Uncle Ben now, apparently.
BTW.
Yeah, whatever.
Another plot point.
It's like, Spider-Man doesn't kill people. Bitch, he just did. And then MJ, feeling lonely, walking through New York, calls up Harry. They have a wonderful date night together where they dance to the twist, make an omelet, and kiss.
I mean, it looks fun, but...
It does look fun. The kiss basically makes him have flashbacks and remember everything, which then makes him evil again. And then he has set in motion his evil plan, where he kidnaps Mary Jane and then tells him that she needs to break up with Peter Parker so that he can damage him, I guess. Wouldn't it just
Ew.
Strike from the heart.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
His father's last words.
All I truly know is that the change between cute, forgetful, confused James Franco, Harry, and scary, drinking his Maker's Mark straight from the decanter, Harry, is so strong. Like, it's just such a quick flip. And I will give James Franco points for being able to make such a quick flip like that and have such two strong, contrasting characters. He does get bonus points for that.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Also loved his... He doesn't say it, but after MJ breaks up with him, he, like, leans up against the tree, and it just looks like he just completed, as I put it.
Ew.
Like, he is full satisfaction, and...
Patting himself on the back.
Is there any Maker's Mark in this movie?
Yes, there is, Dan. We get one shot of it going into the fire and exploding when Harry and Peter have their fight after the whole pie scene, which...
Yeah.
We all love the pie scene.
We do. We love the pie scene.
The freaking wink. Oh my gosh.
Don't even get me started about the freaking wink.
So good.
In all caps, not the wink in the diner. Okay, I have a theory that if I may skip ahead to the diner scene.
Do it. That's where we're going
there.
anyway.
We were
Oh,
there.
perfect. I wasn't sure. After, like, Peter turns and looks back at Harry and Harry winks at him and then the bus goes past and he's gone. I have a theory that Harry just dropped to the floor. He was like, I gotta get on the floor, make this dramatic so it looks like I disappeared, but in reality, I'm still here. And that the waitresses are like, you gonna pay? Like, what are you doing down there?
It's like, just put it in a box.
Yeah, box it up.
Or actually, he's like lying on the ground. He's trying to get a waitress's attention, like very
He's snapping.
calmly, like, "Can I get a doggy bag for this? Just something."
Just something.
Yep.
Yeah. The diner scene is basically Peter and Harry talk, and Harry goes, "Guess what? She was your girl, but now she's mine anyway. Bye-bye."
And then I would say at this point, this is where this movie starts going way downhill.
And that's saying something because we did not start at a high hill to begin with.
It's so true.
It's dipping below sea level at this point. Below sea level.
Like, we get that wink, and Harry's truly winking at us because he knows where this movie is going.
Yeah. How's the pie? Well, this is the best it's gonna be because the rest of it is shit pie.
Yes.
Watch The Help. It's a better movie. Is it a white savior movie? Yes. But is it a better movie than Spider-Man 3? Most are.
True.
I guess Spider-Man's a white savior movie.
Oh no.
Whoa.
But it's just saving more white people.
My thesis.
Oh god.
So now this wink, I'll say, this pie is what turns Peter from regular Peter into emo Peter Parker.
Oh, God.
He goes and he has a fight with Harry.
There's
At
Maker's
his
Mark being
apartment.
thrown about
Yeah, just
Yeah,
all willy-nilly. How
carelessly.
dare they?
Maker's Mark is strewn about. They fight. He basically grenades Harry in the face and then struts his way down Fifth Avenue, baby.
Oh, yeah.
More than struts. I don't even know what the correct word would be. He flaunts himself down Fifth
Saunters?
Avenue.
Yeah.
Saunters. Embarrasses
Yeah.
himself in a big way.
And everybody on the street reacts as they should with abject disgustion.
Which
or,
I do.
or like they like it. Like
Yeah.
there's one girl that was like biting her lip. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No.
She was
no, 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 no,
probably
no, no.
like, I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah.
Peter, because he's evil now, I'm going to skip over the Daily Bugle part. Basically, the Daily Bugle has to print a retraction because Eddie photoshopped a picture. And then they fight in the Daily Bugle office. Okay, and then Eddie gets fired. I guess it's important. Whatever, I don't care. So Peter calls Dr. Connors, and Dr. Connors is like, hey, don't let it touch you. And Peter doesn't care. He gets fed cookies by his landlord's daughter and milk. And he gets a new suit and tie, does a hip thrusting sex dance in the middle of the street,
I
and
hate
no
that
children
scene.
are born for the rest of 2007.
Also, Tobey Maguire tries to do finger guns, but I don't think he's ever seen somebody do finger guns in his entire life. they're completely attached to his hips.
Like he cannot move from this position.
He has two fingers up on each side. Like, he looks ridiculous. He looks like a Ken doll. Like, he just looks bad.
It is just a travesty.
I get it. I understand that they're trying to make him look like an absolute fool in the movie.
It's working, but I don't think in the way they wanted it to.
Yeah, it's too much.
It is too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
But
so
it is
many
also-
other ways they could have went about it, and they're like, no, we're just gonna have like this nice little dance sequence. Toby, you're gonna just flaunt your stuff, and we'll just film it one shot, one take, and then we'll be good. That's what it felt like.
But I feel like that is kind of realistic as to had an incel dork superhero turned into an aggressive, self-confident version of it. That's what they would turn into.
Yeah.
Of course, now they just stormed the Capitol.
Is
Oh!
is this movie actually genius?
I'm shocked. Sam Raimi is quaking listening to this episode. Hi, Sam.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's listening. He's a big
He's
fan.
like, holy cow.
Does he have a Twitter? I'll tag him on Twitter.
Do
Please.
it. Do it.
That
I would
always
love that.
works.
One time our tagging people on Twitter, tagging celebrities on Twitter should work. It hasn't worked the last few times, but it could still.
Oh, something that I have found out is I've been watching Entourage recently, which is an HBO show from the mid-2000s, which has not aged well.
No.
It's not at all. I enjoy it. I think it's very funny, but I know that it's really stupid and not a good show. But the actor who plays Ari Gold on the show, what is his name? Oh, why can't I remember this right now? It's important. Jeremy Piven. So he likes and responds to basically anything that he is tagged in on Twitter. So somehow we need to have a movie starring Jeremy Piven reviewed on this show, which is really only the Entourage movie. And there's no reason for us to talk about that, because we would also have to talk about 8 seasons of Entourage.
No, I can't do it, Dan. I really can't.
What, you don't want to watch 8 seasons of toxic masculinity?
Dan, I
where-
live it.
I know. You have
No.
to deal with me once a week.
Oh, I wasn't talking about you, but sure.
I'm joking. I'm the least toxic man.
Oh, God. Dan's pretty cool. He can stay around for now.
Dang.
Have I told you my theories on women?
Yes. I don't know, you got a girl cat and you have a girlfriend and she's nice, so I'm gonna assume you're doing okay.
So anyway, back to the movie. Peter takes... I was going to call her Haley Joel Osment.
That's a man.
That's not her name.
That is a man. And also her
Bryce
name
Dallas
is...
Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard.
He takes Bryce Dallas Howard on a date to a jazz club where
my
he then
God.
whips...
Find
First,
some
I
shade.
think the worst part of this scene is that he whispers in the host's ear,
Yes!
"Go find us a seat, sugar doll," or
No,
whatever.
he
else
says,
was
find
number
us
20.
some shade. And my shoulders went past my ears.
This is where I visibly gasped. I was just so taken aback. Just find us some shade.
Oh, God. Ew.
Slips her like 100 or whatever she. Yeah, and then he kind of calls her like sugar lips or something like that.
Yeah.
And then we get the second greatest line in this movie.
Oh, no.
Which is when I believe he throws off his jacket and then he goes, "Now feel this."
Yes, I knew you were going to say this because I had just asterisk. Now feel this, asterisk.
Oh, and when he takes off his jacket, we see it cuts to Gwen with her hair gets blown back.
Blown back.
Oh my! It's just too much. This scene. Like this could have been a short film.
Piano, he's dancing,
Oh
and
my
then
gosh.
Gwen realizes that he did all of this pomp and circumstance just to embarrass his ex-girlfriend at her workplace. First of all, good for you, Gwen, walking out and calling him out for being the
We stand with
jerk
Gwen.
that he is, because that's exactly what you should do. As soon as you realize A, he's using you, and B, he's trying to publicly embarrass somebody else, you're outie, girl. You're outie. But also, this scene was cringeworthy just because of how it is. Not just because he's a trash person, just because it's so over the top and out of nowhere. He's playing piano like he's a virtuoso and he's been studying it for years. Are you kidding me? He's dancing, he's whining, he's dining. I can't.
Yeah, it is. There's just no words, honestly.
No, there really are.
Yeah. All the words that have needed to be said about this scene have been said. So, the next scene...
We find out Eddie Brock is a goddamn stalker.
Yeah, for real.
Eddie is at the church praying to God to kill Peter Parker, as we all do.
My exact note is, okay, friend, we don't go to church to ask God to kill people. This will put us in hell. Like,
where at the same time Peter is having a hard time ripping the command strip off his body, the command strip being the Venom symbiote, of course without damaging the wall because he doesn't want to have his security deposit kept from him.
Correct.
Eddie hearing the sound of bells, which is apparently the symbiote's weakness.
which is never mentioned, not even one time. We're supposed to pick it up from when Peter's trying to get the suit off of him.
Yeah,
but
we just get a flashback later on, like,
yeah, like 2 minutes later.
loud sounds?
Whoa!
Yeah. So Eddie ends up drinking the symbiote.
Literally.
Yeah.
So
Or it deep
gross.
throats him.
And,
One of the
okay,
two.
let it be known that while that's happening, I was thinking to myself, first of all, Eddie is wearing the grossest clothes I've ever seen in my life. Like a sweat-stained, like nasty t-shirt that hasn't ever been washed, and that's what he's going to be stuck in underneath that symbiote. Ew, no thank you. I should have worn my Sunday best, you know? Like, I would not be caught dead.
He's a broken man.
Yeah, he's something. Well, he had 2 sips of Maker's Mark and put him over the edge.
Yep. It'll do it.
He's wearing like a sweaty shirt over a sweaty long sleeve shirt. Like a t-shirt over a long sleeve shirt. Has anyone ever done that in real life?
I do that at work all the time because it's cold. But that's the only reason.
right.
It's just me.
Well, there's one. There's at
Hello?
least one, Dan.
Then Peter, I mean, the rest, there's not much left. There's a lot of time left, but there's not much left.
No.
Peter basically tries to repent for his sins. He tries to talk to Harry, and then Harry is all defigured and two-faced.
Truly a hobgoblin now.
Hobby Gobby.
Yeah. The Sandman and Venom, they have a 60s Batman team-up scene in the middle of an alleyway.
Oh, no.
Where Venom says, I don't think it's in this scene, it's somewhere, he says, I like being bad. It suits me.
Suits. Ha ha ha.
Right.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm so sorry.
Something awful like that.
Also, I just want to talk about how I did like when Venom is talking and when Eddie is wearing the Venom suit, quote unquote, his teeth look like Venom's teeth.
They're jagged teeth.
I do appreciate that detail.
So they hatch a plan and the Sandman kidnaps Mary Jane because what else is she good for?
Nothing.
Apparently in these movies.
True.
Whoops. Did I say that out
Flew
loud?
out of my mouth. I was like, oh, that was blue, Anna.
That was like a soul thought. There was no
Good for
pausing
nothing.
that from getting out.
Ooh, that flew out. Before I even had time to stop it.
So Spider-Man, he goes to save Mary Jane because that's what he does.
But okay.
Also, Harry's butler tells him that, no, your dad was killed by his own glider. And then there's more of the fight scene.
We get
Jonah Jameson tries to take pictures, but he doesn't have a camera, so he has to buy the camera from the girl next to him. But it doesn't have film, because film's extra!
Okay, that was a little bit funny. It made me laugh.
It was. That's also Sam Raimi's daughter.
Yes, that
Yes.
I knew. That I knew.
And we also get most of the news coverage from, I'm guessing, BBC, because that reporter is
Probably.
British.
This is an international story now.
Like, I don't know how else to put it. It's gotta be BBC or someone.
No other explanation, unless she's like, from a different country, I guess.
It's just really weird choice.
She's not only British, but she's also greatly editorializing during her reports.
Oh, yeah.
Like, things look grim here for Spider-Man.
Okay.
It's unknown if there's anything we can do.
Whoa! That's exactly what she sounds like.
Yeah. So, of course, because we all know deep down in his heart, Harry's a good man, he comes to fight with Spider-Man. And
Honestly, we love it. Team
Spider-Man-
up with a century.
We do love it.
Yeah.
We also love that the Sandman gets convinced to stop, basically. I'm going to be honest. I skipped through the last 20 minutes of the movie because I didn't care.
Well, they have a big fight, and he gets convinced to just like, no, he just explains like, I'm a good guy, and Peter's like, okay, I guess that checks out.
Yeah.
And then he's like, all right, peace. And then he
Sounds
just
fake,
goes
but
away.
okay.
Yeah.
And then Venom,
bye.
Eddie comes out of Venom, and Venom is just vibing without anyone in him, and it's weird looking.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, and then they had set up like this cage of tubes that make a bunch of metallic noise that the Venom symbiote doesn't like, and then they go to destroy it by blowing it up, but Eddie's like, no, I can't be without that, so he jumps into the symbiote.
Which makes
as it
no
explodes,
sense.
But it implodes into basically nothingness, which in theory was supposed to be a spin-off for Venom, but that never happened.
Well,
And then
it happened sort of.
and then a little bit a while ago, Harry gets stabbed, and that happens.
Yeah, Harry dies, and then we go to the funeral where Peter and MJ get back together because nothing happens at funerals but some mackin'.
Apparently.
Which they do.
Apparently that's the hottest
And-
place to hook up in New York.
Yeah.
And then, mercifully, Spider-Man 3 ends.
Oh, we made it. We made it.
I'd like to point out, before Harry dies, he says something about, like, how Peter's his friend. Just his friend. And then, like, Peter corrects him. He's like, best friend. And then he dies, and we just never get that confirmation that, were they best friends?
You know that Harry just didn't have the strength to go, sure.
He's just like, I'm just gonna die right now.
Oh, God. He's just like, ugh, not worth it.
Also, loved how Gwen was at his funeral, because, they were good friends.
The whole town was
Yeah.
there,
Yeah, the whole town.
All of New York. All of New York.
New York, New York.
New York, New York. Yes.
All of New York is here for the world premiere of Harry's Casket. One time only.
Because when you kill one of us, you kill all of us.
So some trivia about the movie. Thomas Hayden Church, who plays the Sandman, signed on without reading the script.
No.
Rough.
Mistake number one.
Yeah. The last mistake
Direct
you ever
quote
made.
from Sam Raimi. I tried to make it work, but I didn't really believe in all the characters, so that couldn't be hidden from people who loved Spider-Man. He was forced to put Venom in the movie, and Sam Raimi hates Venom, and also executive meddling forced Mary Jane to be a damsel in distress again, even though the only way that Kirsten Dunst said that she would come back for the movie is if she was not a damsel in distress.
Oh my gosh.
That's good.
There's just a lot going on here.
Rough.
Yeah.
Yikes.
A lot of contradictions.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell is again in this movie, and here's the trivia from our friend BD, Dr. Deep. Allegedly, Bruce Campbell in Spider-Man 4, were that to have happened, would have been revealed to have been Mysterio, who was Jake Gyllenhaal's character.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last three characters that he played in the movie were all Mysterio. They're all the same character.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
It would have been really cool, I mean, if things had worked out, but
Yeah.
alas and alack.
I think Gage was telling us, like,
Yeah.
Sam Raimi has been quoted, I guess, saying, like, Spider-Man 4 would have been redemption for 3, but it just never happened. And that's so sad because, my God, if any series needed a redemption, it was this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe we'll get to see some redemption in the new Spider-Man 3 that's coming out, because it's going to have Tobey Maguire in it.
Yeah, very exciting.
Word on the streets.
Some other trivia. The shot of Harry, like, holding Norman Osborn, his dad's body, was shot for the first movie and then used in this one. They kept the stuff meaning
The film?
Whatever. This movie caused my brain to die. So, some things that could have been. In the original version, in one of the first, like, drafts of this movie, Spider-Man was going to face off against the Vulture, who would have been played by Ben Kingsley.
Oh, okay. I can see it.
Who later played the Mandarin in Iron Man 3. Peter it was supposed to be a darker and edgier movie. Peter was supposed to be tempted by the black suit in a deleted scene.
The temptation of Peter in the desert. I'm sorry, that was a bad
Last
one.
temptation of Peter. Yeah. The Sandman would have learned that his daughter's illness is terminal.
Wait, you're telling me it wasn't terminal? Like,
Jesus.
yikes. Well, I guess that's good that she didn't have a terminal illness, but I was like, yeah, she's gonna die soon.
Yeah, we were like, she's
Yeah.
outie. She's outie. You know, usually when you see oxygen, you think, oh, death.
And like a shit ton of medications. I mean,
I'm like, they gotta work hard to keep that body moving, you know what I mean?
All she needs is a glass of Maker's Mark.
Truly. Don't we all?
the secret.
Anyway, this week's episode is brought to you by Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark,
wish.
for when you're probably an evil villain. Maker's Mark. Drink responsibly.
I wish they would sponsor us. Maker's Mark, hi.
Hi, we'll sell out for you. We'll sell out for any ad sponsor.
True.
Or considered for the role of Gwen Stacy were Elisha Cuthbert and Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, ScarJo. Interesting.
Yeah.
And I already told you about the gimp suit,
Hate it.
right?
Absolutely hate it.
And there's other trivia. The reason that Venom doesn't explicitly die is because there was supposed to be a Venom spinoff that only came about 11 years later, not as a spinoff, but as a standalone movie starring Tom Hardy.
And it was great. I thirsted the whole film.
I really need to
It's
see
better
it.
than Joker.
Yeah, probably.
Do you really not like Joker that much, or are you just poking fun?
Joker
mean to me.
was. I'm being completely serious. Joker is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Wow.
That's coming from somebody
Not
who
from
loves
a-
It's a Wonderful Life, so let's be careful.
All right,
with
I
the
like
words
It's a
like-
Wonderful Life
standpoint.
and Joker, all right?
Well. How special for you.
I'm
trying to defend you.
It. I
no
can't get into
defense.
it right now because this is definitely worthy of its own episode.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Joker was 2.5 hours long. I saw it in the same theater that I saw The Irishman in.
Okay.
Oh, God.
The Irishman felt 9 times shorter. Every minute I was looking
That
at
is
my watch
such
and
an
thinking, when will this
exaggeration.
Bold
stretch
statement.
end?
You're an exaggerator. Meanwhile, no, I can't say that on the air. I don't want to get canceled. Never mind. I was checking the back of the theater to make sure I wasn't going to get shot, but it's fine.
Oh my god.
You know, incels. Don't put that
Just movie
in.
things.
That's a joke for just us. Don't put that in.
Okay,
That's a joke for
fine.
just us. Thank you.
I'm gonna mark that I need to cut here.
Thank you.
Okay. So, now that we're done with the movie, Anna, you go first.
About what, Dan? Just my feelings?
About anything, your
I'm
feelings,
like, Anna,
your
you
thoughts.
go first. What? I'm glad we're done with this trilogy. It's not my favorite Spider-Man trilogy at all. I think it's
Bold,
really
considering currently it's the only one.
yeah, I know. It's well, you know, I'm really hoping high hopes for not Tobey Maguire. Oh my God, for Tom Holland.
For Spider-Man 3-2.
3-2.
Yeah, it's the second Spider-Man 3.
Oh yes, correct.
Okay.
3.2.
I have some very high hopes. That's why I say not my favorite trilogy, you know, because hopefully this next one doesn't suck. The other two were fun. But going back to this specific trilogy, I like it just because I do find it to be so cheesy. You know, I think it's fun to make fun of.
Yes.
Yeah.
David, what about you?
This movie in general was just it was fun watching. Obviously just not a good movie at all. But yeah, it is really sad that this trilogy ended with this movie just because I mean, I loved the first two, and coming in with the third one is just like, it's so painful. And also knowing that there could have been a fourth one to redeem it hurts as well. So yeah, I mean, it was goofy to watch, and I enjoyed that, but my God, was this a bad movie? Yeah.
I think a big issue with this movie in comparison to the previous two, because all these movies take themselves entirely seriously, which I like. I like that they take themselves seriously, but also that there are silly moments in it. I think that this movie failed at taking itself seriously. It tried to take itself seriously. It really tried. It tried to make us feel for emo Peter Parker and the fact that every character in this movie is just the worst person. But it didn't have the redeeming qualities that the other two had. Like, a big issue is the villains, because in the first two movies, the villains are the most fun part.
Yeah.
In
Yeah,
this one,
true.
the end is the most fun part, because it's over.
Yeah. And also, you just don't get fleshed out characters like you do in the last two. It's just like, here's a villain, and here's the third one, like halfway through
Here's
the movie.
9 villains.
Yeah.
Fun fact. I hate the term fleshed out.
I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to tell you. Just thought I'd share.
In that case, Anna,
Dan, don't.
let's
Don't.
flesh out our
No.
rankings.
It's so gross. It's so gross. Gage no longer says he's fleshing out his D&D characters. He goes, let's add the details. I appreciate his thoughtfulness.
I think ranking the trilogy, and I don't think this is a controversial way, it goes 2-1-3.
I was going to say 2-1-3.
I was as well.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not
rocket
hard.
science.
No.
Yeah. And it definitely goes like 2 is up top, definitely. Then 1's a little below it. It's good. It's fun. It's not as good as 2. And then 3 is Joker.
Stop.
Yikes,
No.
man, just with the constant
No, I can't. I'm
Three
sorry.
is-
This was a better movie than Joker.
3 is It's a Wonderful Life. Painful, slow,
How dare you?
in black and white.
You're just making enemies tonight.
Starring
Dan
Jimmy
already
Stewart.
hates me. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, one could argue that like 1 and 2 are like pretty close. At least, I guess I could argue it because I just do love the first one so much. More for nostalgia than
Yeah.
the actual movie, but
I just hate the spiders.
yeah,
I can't even. We're talking about Spider-Man. I feel silly, but you know what I mean.
you should.
I hate the spider lab, is what I mean in the first one. I hate that part.
Yeah.
What if they replaced it with a man lab and there were men biting spiders?
Oh, God, that's
Oh.
worse.
I feel like they'd just be eating them at that point.
Stop.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine them trying to like just get the
Gently.
little, the smallest bite? I'd hate that.
I could not put my mouth anywhere near a spider on purpose. Absolutely not.
Valid. Very, very
Tell
valid.
that to the 7 spiders you eat in your sleep a year.
I refuse to believe that that's a true fact.
Yeah, it's actually more.
And I said on purpose, Dan. If I'm sleeping, it doesn't count.
Fine.
Aha.
David, you've given a different actor or actress the past 2 weeks.
I have.
Do you want to stick with either of them or come up with a third one
Mix
to
it
close
up.
out the trilogy?
Yeah, I'll mix it up again.
Good call.
Okay.
I'm torn between. I love Michael Shannon, and I also.
Ooh.
I love Michael Shannon.
Do you really?
Yeah, I
Okay,
love
I'll
Boardwalk Empire.
I'll stick with Michael Shannon then.
Okay, this is really easy. Would this movie be better, worse, or the same with Michael Shannon as the Sandman?
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
I know my answer.
I think better, and that's not saying that the guy that played Sandman was bad. I just love Michael Shannon. I think he would do a fantastic job. Loved him as
Yeah.
God, so I assume he'd bring that much energy into this movie.
Love him in The Shape of Water. Oh,
It's not Get Out. It's Knives Out. Mm-hmm. He's great.
I haven't seen
Oh, yeah.
Knives Out yet, which
Fantastic.
I'm sad about because I wanted to see it, and then Gage watched it with his family.
Dang.
And I have not forgiven any of them.
It's a very good movie.
I know.
Also, Bug, one of his earlier movies. Originally a play.
Yes, I know the
Yeah?
play.
Yeah?
Yeah, Antigone. Yes.
It's a great, great movie.
Oh, Michael Shannon. If you're listening, Mr. Shannon, I love you.
So,
Love Boardwalk Empire. Okay.
Would this movie be better, worse, or the same with Jimmy Stewart as Captain Gwen Stacy? It's the same.
I truly think he should be Captain Gwen Stacy.
I do too.
Or-
Yeah, the 14 years past death bones of Jimmy Stewart. As
Just
Captain
rattling in the
Gwen
wind.
Stacy.
I would love to see a young Jimmy Stewart play Eddie Brock. So, like, when we get the church scene, he's just like, God, please, Clarence?
Oh, God, no.
Listen here, God, Clarence. I don't come to you for much, but kill Peter Parker.
Pretty much.
What? He's above me? Why?
Oh, God.
And then he pulls out a copy of Huck Finn, and it says, I don't know.
It's got Peter Parker's name written in it.
Yeah.
And lastly, would this movie be better, worse, or the same with Jonathan Taylor Thomas as Eddie Brock?
Better, slimier, more believable.
It would be slime. Can it be slimier?
Yes, about as slimy as a kid who's trying to make extra money on the side who's in 3rd grade. You know, with their slime shops.
Yeah.
No, I think he would be a great Eddie Brock. You know, I think he would be smarmy and sassy and still kind of like, no offense to Topher Grace, sexier than Topher Grace.
You take that back.
I don't think Topher Grace is sexy.
I'm
I think
looking
he
at
kind
my
of
pinup poster of Topher Grace right now.
ooh. Your
He's in the Farrah
centerfold.
Fawcett suit.
Oh God, your centerfold of Topher Grace. Ew. I'm sorry, Topher, if you're listening, but You know, Gage told me that I'm a Jackie last night.
Ooh, that's an insult.
Yeah, I know. I'm still mad at him.
But do you agree, Dan?
No, I mean, you're not a Donna either. You're none of them.
You're just not
You're
in the
not
show.
a Donna. The closest, I'm being honest, and I don't mean this as an insult. The closest, like, personality-wise, like, caring and stuff is Kitty.
I'll take Kitty. She's so fun.
Yeah.
My
She is
favorite is
fun.
when she gets a wiener dog and
Ah,
she puts him
yeah.
on the counter and Red is like, why is he up there? And she goes, he likes being tall. Because that's something I do at work all the time. I'll take Kitty. That's a good one.
Yeah. So, lastly, before we wrap this up, we have to rate this movie. So, on a scale of 1 to 5 pieces of good pie,
I thought you were saying trash.
what do you give it?
David, you're the guest. You can go first.
I will give it a 2 out of 5.
Fair. I also was going to give it a 2. Oh,
I am also giving it a 2.
look at us.
Wow.
Wow.
The,
Really
the
all on the
action
same
scenes
page.
are the action scenes are
Not
good.
me.
Yeah. It's
The
bad,
action's good.
but it's not the worst thing I've seen.
Yeah, I've seen. It's
Say
a
it.
Wonderful Life.
Oh my
Thank
god.
you.
My brain kept saying A Walk to Remember, and I knew that wasn't true because I like that movie.
So, David, thank you for being with us the past 3
Oh my
episodes.
gosh. Thank you for having me on the show. It's been a
Yes, it's
dream
been wonderful
ever since I started
having
listening.
you.
So, like, since March.
So, yeah, since March. Dreams can come anytime.
We'll have you back in the future for something.
Tears in my eyes.
The Cider House Rules miniseries 12-episode podcast that we do.
The
where each
Patreon
scene is an
special episode.
Oh, yes. I would love that.
Patreon exclusive.
But where can people find you if you want them to find you online?
Yeah, I'll give my Instagram out, actually, this time around.
Oh, okay,
So-
bougie. Here we go.
Yeah, it's drod664, just all lowercase. It's private, so I might
That's okay,
may
mine's
or may
private,
not accept you. And then you can find me on Twitch, Orbital Knights 64, not 6-4, like I said last time. And that's about it. Yeah.
Cool. If you would like to follow the show on the internet, you can do so on Facebook and Twitter at And In Conclusion, on Instagram at In Conclusion Podcast. Almost said that wrong.
Sorry I made it hard for you.
If you want to give us money, you can do so on Patreon at patreon.com/inconclusion. There are a bunch of tiers. We don't do any of the things that we say that we do in the tiers. Basically, they're just different levels of money that you can.
Well, maybe we should start doing some of the things, Dan.
Get mugs, Dan. Get mugs.
When the people who are our patrons are not in our immediate vicinity most of the time,
Okay, fair.
I will say so.
Fair.
If you want to find me on the internet, you can do so on Twitter at DanO'Keefe86, on Instagram at DLRAAR. Mine's public, so, you know, better than them.
Yikes.
I'm a girl. I have to keep it on private. I'm not trying to have creeps sliding into my DMs.
I'm really disappointed because people keep commenting on Anna, not you, Anna, my girlfriend, her posts with collab, DM us.
Love it.
And I really want them to comment that on my pictures because I
Sorry,
love
Dan.
responding to them.
That's what you get for having a pretty girlfriend.
I know.
Look what you messed
It's
up.
my curse. It's
really-
my curse.
It's your curse that you have a beautiful girlfriend. Life is so hard for you.
Anna, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at AutomusPrime818 or on Twitter at AutobotsRollout. Capital O for Auto, capital B for Bots, capital R for Roll, and the O in Roll and the O in Out are zeros. I'm starting to black out every time I do that.
I know, your eyes roll back in your head when you say it.
Yeah. It's like a spell. I just like it shoots out.
We will be back next week talking about something. I don't know. We didn't discuss this beforehand, so it'll be something. We might have a guest. We might be a series. It might be a one-off. All I know is that, like clockwork, the next episode after this will be posted at 8 a.m. on Thursday, January 21st.
Good job, Dan.
Thank you. You can listen to it before the inauguration.
I think that's when the inauguration
It's on the
is.
20th,
It's on the
isn't
20th.
it?
Yeah.
It's always on
It's
the
a
20th.
Wednesday.
Okay, thanks for listening. Bye!
Adios.
Bye.
I need to say my actual goodbye. Stay safe, have fun, wear a mask. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Dan, I'm not hating on your tastes, but it doesn't surprise me. You seem like a Fault in Our Stars kind of basic gal, you know what I mean?